lying in Magic is actually allowed, like within the rules. Well, about certain things. You can't lie about your life total or what zone a card is in. This is why you won't see a Pro Tour player put a dice on Tarmogoyf, because if they forget to adjust the dice, they can get in trouble for misrepresenting their Goyf's power and toughness. But you can lie about private information. You can tell an opponent you have a Pact of Negation in hand, even if you don't. That's totally legal in a tournament setting. Additionally, derived information in a format with 4 players of varying knowledge levels can be really tricky to navigate and could be exploited. Attack on Cardboard has an excellent video about lying in MTG with some more examples and goes into more detail than I will here. Link to his video and the supporting article in the description. In this video, I want to focus on private information and derived information in Commander. But first, if you're looking to buy any cards, check out Cool Stuff Inc. and use code TTM to get a deal. You save money and it supports the channel. Thanks to Cool Stuff Inc. for sponsoring the video. So private information is defined as information to which players have access only if they are able to determine it from the current visual game state or their own record of previous game actions. Any information that is not free or derived is automatically private. So this is like cards in your deck or cards in your hand. Something other players wouldn't know and can't know just by looking at their hand and what's on the board. Derived information is information to which all players are entitled access, but opponents are not obligated to assist in determining and may require some skill or calculation to determine. So if I have a welding jar in play at regular REL, which is what casual EDH would be, you must explain that you have a welding jar in play if someone asks what you have on board. Additionally, in regular REL, derived information becomes public, meaning you would need to point out that the welding jar can protect something if somebody asks what welding jar does. But you don't need to explain that it can save something if a player goes to use artifact removal and then you want a welding jar in response. Those are the official rules of the game, but I personally go a lot further in my casual EDH games, which makes me better at playing Magic and more fun to play with. First, let's talk about combos. Part of the reason I was inspired to make this video in particular was because of comments on my last video and a few social media posts I made. I was pretty surprised to find that most players' experience with combos is that somebody would just have a few pieces in play, drop the last one and say, "Oopsies, I win," with no fanfare or warning. This is probably an oversight in the video, because for me that almost never happens. Partially, it's because I've been playing the game for a long time now, and I've seen a lot of combos. Any of the common ones I probably already know about and won't be surprised by it. Plus, I know a lot of the signs. I can sniff out a combo from pretty far away. Generally sack outlets, things that produce mana, or if they're constantly tutoring and drawing cards, they're probably going for a combo, and I can figure that out. Because of that, I'm going to regularly point out the combo. So in my games, when there are 2 pieces of a combo or 3 pieces of the combo in play, I'm letting the whole table know about it. So it's almost never a surprise to the table, because I've already made it clear that, hey, this person has 3 out of 4 combo pieces. And this goes for when I'm the combo player too. When I'm playing something that would be massively detrimental to a player that they might not know about, like Goblin Charbelcher after I've taken all the lands out of my deck, a new player might not realize that that represents lethal. So I make it very clear, hey, I'm taking all of the lands out of my deck. That means that this Charbelcher now becomes a one-shot kill. Would you like to use removal here at this point? Instead of just activating it and saying, hey, it's too late, the ability's on the stack. And this is beyond the legal limit of the minimum I have to do in a game of Magic according to the rules. And it's not just combos. Sometimes when I cast a spell that puts a card on top of my library, I will leave the card revealed until I draw it. If a player asks how many cards are in my hand, which is information you can't lie about, I will remind them of a card that they would have known about. Like if a creature was bounced to my hand, I might remind them what it was. When I cast a reanimation spell targeting something, and my opponent is debating whether or not to counter it, I will truthfully tell them what my line is. Hey, I'm reanimating this, so I can destroy that. When a player tries to do something, I will divulge the derived information and allow them to make their play. Unless information has changed, of course. You can't take back your spell after I've already attempted to counter it, because now you know I have the counterspell in hand. I also try to avoid the small bean syndrome, when a player understates the power of their deck. It really ticks me off when somebody has 10 lands in play on turn 5 and says they haven't done anything and they're not a threat. That's 100% gaslighting, right? If my deck is a threat, or I have a card that is very crucial to my list in play and will be threatening, I will let my opponents know. I'm never going to lie and say, oh, don't worry about it. There are a ton of benefits to doing this. For one, if you are playing casual EDH with nothing on the line, there really is no reason to try and trip up your opponents by withholding information. It's the sort of thing that doesn't get you invited back to game night next time. And on some level, you should just try to be nice and helpful in general. Another benefit is speed. It takes time for your opponents to look at what you are reanimating, how it interacts with the board, weigh their options, and then decide if they want to cast the counterspell or not. Instead, if I just tell them, hey, I'm doing this so I can do that, it speeds up the decision and speeds up the game. Same with takebacks. If you want to play with no takebacks, fine by me, but you are going to have to wait for me to pause and check every card on the field before I cast anything, just in case I miss a welding jar or something. I also find playing at this information limiting level as a form of gatekeeping. Magic is really hard to get into. There's a lot to learn for new players. And by withholding knowledge, it's not making it easier for that new player to get into the game. By being helpful and open with information, you make the game inviting for new players. Now, for a lot of players, you might be thinking, Con, this is obvious, right? It's casual EDH, why would you not be helpful and keep the chill vibes? Well, sometimes I think this clashes with more spiky players. Everyone has a little bit of the 3 archetypal players in them. Timmy, who plays for fun, Spike, who plays to win, Johnny, who plays to make a point. And some people might think, hey, it's a game, I'm playing to win, why would I help my opponents out? And some people think that the Spike mindset is just not compatible with casual EDH and should be forgotten. But I actually disagree with both of these points. Oh, and Johnny, you don't really fit into this video, so I'm just gonna delete you, bye. Personally, I would consider myself a pretty spiky player. I am always playing to win. I am trying to optimize my decks, and I don't like it when players stop playing to win. It gets on my nerves when a player refuses to pay for Ristic Study, and they're just like, oh, I'm not playing to win, so who cares if they draw 20 cards and win? I care. I don't want them to draw 20 cards. But if I'm a Spike, why do I do all of these extra things to help out my opponents? Well, it's because I'm a competitor. A true competitor who doesn't want free wins. Look, when I'm playing a 60 card format, and my opponent forgets to unsideboard, and then they get a game loss, great, I'll take it. A free win for me. But then I didn't get to improve my matchup knowledge against that deck pre-sideboard. If I'm playing a weird jank combo that nobody's seen before, sure, I can sneak in wins by just playing each piece, chatting with my opponents, acting like nothing is going on, and then later say, oopsies, I win. I could even lie and just say those aren't combo pieces, and my deck doesn't have the 4th piece in the list. There's nothing in the rules stopping me from doing that. But if I did that, I didn't improve as a combo player. Part of being good at playing combo decks is knowing when to deploy, correctly reading your opponents, baiting out removal with other cards. There is a skill set which sometimes you can circumvent by lying, but then you don't improve the skills. When a card is bounced back to hand, tutored for, or revealed in some way, it is optimal for your opponents to write that down so they remember what it was and can use that information to make future decisions. Many people don't do this, but by me freely giving up that information, it's as if my opponents were playing at their most optimal and had written down all the cards that were relevant, which means winning is a bit harder for me, and that makes the win worth more. Finally, politics. Politics is an incredibly powerful tool in your games, but if you just lie and go back on deals all the time, you eventually lose out on the ability to make those deals in the future. Like, yes, you did go back on a deal and steal a win once, but that really only works once. They just don't make a deal with you next time. Not only is deal making a fun aspect of Commander you would lose out on, but it's also a way to win games. I have won many games because of politics. There is a very fine line between bluffing and lying. This is why I avoid definitive statements most of the time. If I have blue open and someone asks if I have a counterspell, I'm not going to say yes or no, I'll just tell them that's for me to know and them to find out. I should also make a quick note here to be careful when accusing someone of lying. It's seriously possible they didn't see a line of play or didn't know that some cards comboed or anything like that. Mistakes can happen. Don't go assuming the worst out of everyone all the time. I think if you are the timmiest of timmies or the spikiest of spikes, you should still be more forthcoming with your information. It improves the play experience and helps you improve at the game. And if you're having more fun and improving at Magic, that sounds like a good EDH game to me, and I don't see why you would play any differently. I'm really curious what you think, so please leave a comment. A lot of this is me kind of thinking about that last video and how surprised I was that players seem to regularly not announce combos or explain what's going on. I find it really strange, and I generally think people shouldn't be withholding information like that in casual EDH. Oh, I guess I didn't talk about girl bossing. I'll leave that for another video, I guess. Thanks for watching. If you want to be in the credits like my tier 3 patrons here, check out the link below. Plus, there are a bunch of other perks.